Even though Project Zomboid came out in 2013, thanks to a really great fan base, the game actually peaked at its higher play count this month, and I really can't stress this enough. Project Zomboid is worth its asking price. At $14.99, it's currently the cheapest game with Project in the title, at least in the quick search menu on Steam. I've already talked about Project Zomboid before, but a quick rundown. Zomboid is an open world survival, zombie, sandbox game, and the best one at that. The game allows you to customize almost every aspect of any survival run. You can make it as calm or as hectic as you want. So that's why today I thought it'd be fun to run down some of the community's and myself's favorite challenge runs. Before we hop in, if you could go ahead and give me a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I make these videos covering a lot of different aspects of survival games, so if you're a fan of survival games, I would love to see you around moving forward. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into the countdown. Starting off, I'm going to be talking about two challenges that actually just come in the most recent build of Project Zomboid, which is the 41 beta. The first one is CDDA, which is an extremely difficult challenge run. You begin extremely in pain, a runny nose, you have a cold, which actually over time makes you sneeze and stuff. It actually tracks zombies towards your way. On top of this, you're drenched in pain and in a burning house with not much to your name. And on top of that, you can even start by giving yourself every bad trait in the game. This is a truly punishing challenge run, and I honestly haven't even attempted to try it because I'm still on the kind of hard spectrum of challenge runs. I don't really venture off into this territory, at least not yet. There's a good, really great playthrough by Ambiguous Amphibian on YouTube. I really do recommend. The playthrough will be in the description because he not only makes it an entertaining run, but he shows it's possible, I guess, because honestly reading it and then playing it myself, I didn't think anyone could do it. Essentially, this challenge run is from, a zero to heroes, even what he calls it. You have all the odds stacked against you, and somehow you're supposed to turn that all around and make it work. Now, obviously, it is pretty, straightforward what's happening here. You start with all the negative traits. You start completely messed up in a burning house with not many tools in that house to scavenge, so right off the bat you kind of take away that first initial loot from the house that you spawn in. You take away any sort of severance of at least I'm not already injured and stuff. The whole point of starting over or starting new in Project Zomboid is a fresh start, while this one just kind of throws you in the middle of the worst case scenario. Really fun, but really challenging. I don't recommend this for any of the new players, obviously, but it's still a good time it's a good challenge if you think you are comfortable with Zomboid. The next one that I've actually played a few times and can vouch for is pretty fun, and it's definitely not for the newbies, but you don't quite need as much talent and game knowledge going into this one. Is you have one day. The whole setup on this one is you basically get one day to scavenge as much as you can before you are forced to kind of hold out in one location or to make a few desperate attempts to try to get around. This one is actually really hard as well because it's really hard to think ahead as much as you really need to in this scenario. You really don't think it's going to be as bad as it is. Obviously, after the first time you play it, you realize that, but the whole day of where you get to loot for stuff is a lot of fun. You kind of don't know what's coming. You kind of get lost. Even in the back of your mind, you're like, this is temporary. This is definitely not going to be forever. Something's going to have to end this. A big horde of zombies will end this. But in the moment, you're enjoying yourself, and it all comes crashing down very quick, and it was a lot of fun the few times I did play it. I really recommend it. Definitely have some sort of sense of game knowledge going into this one. Definitely not for the newbies still, but it's not quite as hard as the CDDA one, so it's definitely something to try, something to improve your own skills and get comfortable with learning the map and stuff like that. The next one I'm going to talk about is, again, for those hardcore players. It is the Private Limes Day of the Dead type scenario. It is legitimately impossible to watch him play this challenge run because of how bad I end up feeling for him. I don't understand why someone would have put themselves through this type of torture, but it's an extremely fun watch. I tried a similar setup. I don't remember if he posted it or not. I kind of just watched what he did and then, replicated what I assumed he was doing with the zombies and whatnot. And I gave it 1 life and realized that I am nowhere near ready for this type of challenge. I kudos to him for playing it as much as he has. It's been a fun series to watch. Again, any series I mention will be in the description of the video. It's a great watch. I don't recommend this for almost anybody, even if you think you are super great at Project Zomboid. This will probably still make you lose your shit because of how frustrating this is. So, not for the newbies, not really for the experienced boys either. This one is for people who strictly can't find anything else to do with Project Zomboid and, like I said, want to torture themselves. There's definitely people out there that are like this. Good luck if you're going to venture into this one. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Prison Challenge, which is actually a mod by Pillow. Pillow's Random Scenarios. I'll leave that in the description as well. It adds a bunch of cool scenarios for you to try out, but the Prison Challenge is one of those ones where it has a very interesting start, but then kind of goes into a generic survival scenario. You start off in the prison with couple cellmates that are zombified and a random tool that someone snuck in for you. Your main objective at first is to find a key to get the hell out of prison, and after that it's sort of a generic hard survival scenario. A lot of fun, a very stressful start. It kind of leaves you on edge for the rest of the time just because of what happened, what you keep remembering from the start. But overall, a little bit more bland than the other ones. This one might be a little bit more starter friendly, newbie friendly, from just the subtle fact that it's very stressful, hard beginning. You need to know how to get around hordes and whatnot, but as long as you get that key and that weapon and you're out of there, you're gonna be all right. The last one I'm going to talk about is another one in the Pillow's Random Scenarios, and that is the Abandoned Soldier. Your squad never showed up, and all that gunfire you heard must have attracted nearby horde. So basically, you start off with a bunch of decent, really good gear, but with a horde already after you, and a few, full magazines. Your basic instinct is to open fire on this horde, which is only going to attract more zombies, but your instant survival instincts normally kick in, and that's sort of what you do. Why I love this one, the backstory to it in my mind is amazing. Project Zomboid is a perfect game where you kind of write your own story, and this one is great for that. You see yourself as this terrified soldier going into a battle because he has no idea what it is, and now all of a sudden there's all these unknown creatures coming at you, and the more you kill for some reason, the more they're attracted towards you. It's a great way to sort of write out the survival scenarios in your head and have a good time. This one is slightly more newbie friendly because of the decent gear at the start, and if you play it well, you can get out with most of it, but you still have to be pretty smart on how you do this. Drunk on Life has a decent let's play on this one that was really enjoyable, so I do recommend that, and that'll be in the description, and the mod pack with all of these scenarios will be in the description. Either way, that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying Project Zomboid as it sees its successful numbers during this month, and it is great to see. This is a game that I do truly love and have loved since 2013. And if you guys do not own this game, I highly recommend it. Play it, get used to it, start enjoying these challenge runs, because the more you play it, the more you enjoy it. There's a pretty steep learning curve with Project Zomboid, especially with Build 41 that just came out. Stick it out, because if you love survival games, if you enjoy the genre, this is by far one of the best games in the genre that I feel like gets looked over because it's not a first-person game. But I feel like the third-person aspect adds a lot to it, but that's another talk for another time. Either way, that'll do it. I'll see you next time.